right, want to welcome everybody to the Choey and Jandler's The Fun Time Super Terrific Happy Hour podcast. This is the first episode of season 2. Welcome, Choey.
Welcome, Jandler.
All right. Here's that.
Cool.
Sorry about that. Yeah. I was trying to get the cap going early, and but at least it didn't time out too much. You just may have heard that little leak. All right.
No, you're good.
So yes, this is the first official episode of season 2. Awesome. One of the things that I think I told you about that I wanted to do for every episode is I have like a holiday celebration, right? Just kind of real quick.
Yeah.
So this is August 25th. For those that don't know, August 25th is National Banana Split Day, right? It's also August 25th is also National Kiss and Makeup Day. And if you're curious, it's also my mom's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday, Jandler's mom. Yeah.
You're like Mrs. Jandler.
I was about to be like Mrs. Bing, and I was like, wait a second, no, that's not it.
Yeah, that would sound bad.
No, Mrs. my mom.
Dude, so I was thinking about this. Now I have all my notes on a computer this year instead of a paper. So I just like go through a slideshow, boom, boom, boom. But I was thinking kind of in my head, prepping a little bit like how I would phrase this. So I don't want to count down because every time I try and say like, hey, I got 3 things to say, I end up like saying like 4 or 5. You know, is that ever happened to you? I'm just like, you know, I'm just going to say, hey, here's some things that I was hoping to do like this summer, right? Obviously, put us on YouTube, and I did.
Yeah.
Build up the social media, right? And that's been going. I wanted to get us up to where we were eligible to record ads again, which we're so close, man. It's like we were at 93 for a point. We need 100 Spotify listeners in a 2-month span, right? We're at like 93 for a point. We were at 91 this morning. Currently, or 91 yesterday. Currently, we're at 89. What it is like if it's within 60 days, like so if somebody listened to it and now they came back and they didn't log into Spotify, then it doesn't count. Because I had to, because one of the other things I was able to do was update our Anchor podcast homepage. So it has all our links to our social media and our podcast things, right? Like the platforms. Yeah. And so while I was chatting with the person online, I was like, hey, can you please tell me? Because we were at 93, dude, for like 7 or 8 days. And I was like, we're so close, but it's still pushing. But I tell you what, man, at the beginning of the summer, we were like at 30. So, I mean, that's not bad to go from 30 to this. And I keep using, I'm trying to use Threads daily, put a little t-shirt joke in our link on just to, like, I'll do that on Threads, Twitter, or X now. It's not Twitter, right? It's just X. And then Facebook. You know, just trying to kind of keep putting it out there. And I feel bad annoying people, but, you know, it is what it is, I guess, right?
Well, because I don't know if you remember one of my little buddies, David, I used to live with. He invited me to a Facebook group, like the Joe's Crab Shack OG members or something like that. And so I put it on there, the link to one of the pilot episode, and told everybody, hey, man, like, hop on and check it out.
You do it when we get to this one will sound a lot better. So,
well, I put it with a disclaimer like, hey, the first few episodes sound a little raw, so you know, kind of work through it. But as you get better.
Oh yeah, and then the last thing, I'm sorry to cut you off there again, dude. But and after I do this, you can finish what you were saying. The last thing I was hoping to do, right, is create a national, because there's a National Podcast Day. I was trying to create a National Comedy Podcast Day, right, in honor of us, right? So I got this email back, right? I'm just going to read it real quick. It says, thanks for your interest in enlisting National Comedy Podcast Day on National Today's website. We use calendar-based marketing to target a desired audience on peak days throughout the calendar year when they're most likely to engage, share, and make a purchase, or just to create awareness. This approach uses the timing and relevance of holidays, cultural events, and seasonal trends to create marketing campaigns that resonate with the audience. Here's a little bit about our submission process. We have an open submission process for days that are fun and quirky, a cause, etc. We also work with brands or agencies that wish to create or amplify an existing holiday or cause. The base holiday resignation, and this is where we got stuck, man, is a flat fee of $5,000. I was like, whoa. I'm like, we don't really have that kind of money just to play around with, you know? And then it says activation will contain a do follow link to your website, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it kind of kept going, but they were nice, but I was like, I was hoping to be able to get it done for, I don't know, not that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you're all happy. Will you take a check post-dated for like 20 years from now?
An IOU, you know, something like that.
Hey,
and one last thing I would like to, by the way, next time we're in person, I do have a physical gift for you for season 2. But on August 13th, 2020, well, actually on August 13th, 2023, and so that was what, a week and a half ago ish, we made our 1-year anniversary. So we got this email that said, "Happy 1 year. On this day a year ago, we published our first episode." So not too shabby there, right?
It seems like it's been a long time, but I realized that I created like a crazy psychopath podcast. Like,
wait till we start working on these children's books that we haven't even. All our children's book ideas is like, hey, we want to write a book, but sorry, man, I had to take a sip. I tell you what, man, whenever we get that idea, I got 2 people that can help us. I got a friend. I can't remember if I told you this. I got a friend from way early age when I was like little. His sister writes children's books, and I got another friend that like went to school for like screenwriting or something on the side. So I was like, I figure those 2 people, whenever we get an idea, we'll go to them, or whenever we start working on it. You know, to us, it's just a process. At least for me, you know. And then,
so I get to be the talents on that one too, then, right?
You need to get, it's so what I picture, right? And again, that was your idea. Both of them have been your ideas. What I picture is when we finally have an idea, I could see like each of us kind of writing it, right? And then getting together and being like, yeah, I like that. No, I don't like that. Or let's change this or whatever, you know? That's how I kind of see it. But I don't know how you are. I haven't got an idea other than, like I said, I just want it to be kind of silly. So it's like, that doesn't really help me, you know? Hey, this is something, and I'll show you, you know, next time we're doing an in-person episode. But did you know that you can search, like, you know, you can Google stuff, but if you search Choey and Jandler's Fun Time, there's a ton of links, especially on Bing.com, man. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Shut up.
Jandler Bing, and you go to Bing.com, kind of look us up. You see all these, not only do you see these searches, but you see our logo. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. So I just thought it was funny because I'm Jandler Bing, and on Bing.com, I was like, we're out there.
Is it with the ampersand or with the full out and?
I put and. I mean, I'll send you the link. Like I said, I on the slideshow that I have here, I just was going to click it and be like, here you go. Boom, boom. But like, yeah, I'll definitely show it to you because I think it's pretty cool, man. You can Google Choey and Jandler, but a lot of times they try and say, you mean Joey and Chandler? And I'm like, no, that is not what I mean. I'm looking for us.
No,
Two more things. Well, really one more thing. Then we'll turn it over to you real quick. By the way, someone listened to it was one of our summer episodes. You remember when you were talking about car accidents and there's no such thing as a plane accident, right?
Because there's not.
Do you recall that conversation, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, a listener of ours told me he was listening, a friend of mine too, told me he was listening to it. He's like, you know, there's no such thing as a car accident now. They label them as car crashes because an accident implies that nobody was there to blame. So apparently that's how the police do it now. So there's no such thing as a car accident anymore either, Choey. Just so you know.
Well, whatever. That's like the semantics of whatever. My point was the whole point of that rant was not like the fact that, like, you know, car accident, whatever the way you would have called crash, accident, collision. It's the fact that planes, they're plane crashes and everybody dies. That's it.
I would love to see what you do when you have to take a trip to like Europe. You ride the
Dude,
boats like in the old days.
If I do that, I'm gonna sink like in the Titanic and stuff.
Hey, you want to explain your what we're still trying to do that analogy thing this episode, or did you want to save that? Do you have any allergies? Do you have any analogies on hand, or what? Do I need to save that?
No, not you caught me off guard, man.
All right, we'll save that for a future episode. I'll cut that little bit out. All right.
Well, no, I mean, so I'll go back in the text messages and find it, but essentially, like, the whole thing was just like that would be kind of a funny like thing to do, like a theme, like a running joke, either for like an episode or throughout the whole season, like where we just make like some random analogy that doesn't actually make sense, just so people can be like, wait, what? Like that's as funny as like a 7-foot man open a jar of mayonnaise.
That makes. I was looking up silly analogies like when you gave me that when you brainstorm that idea. It's so here's one that I think just makes me laugh. Right, your vocabulary was as bad as like whatever, man. You know, and I just like I was like they put a whole lot of thought in that one. You know.
Did you get that one out there?
Yeah, I did. I didn't think of that one. I just wrote it down. Thought it was hilarious. All right, last thing I'm gonna say until I turn it over to you before we take a quick little break. Over the summer, man. Now I know it's different for you because you're admin and you had to work 4 out of those 5 days, correct? Like weekly. Yeah. I don't like responding to email until August 1st at least. But man, I kept getting all these emails like in July, especially, and I'm like, stop sending me emails. It's summertime. You know, there was a teacher. She used to work at my school. She's at another school now. She has a automatic response that when you send them emails, her response is like, I'm not even checking my email till August 1st, just so people know. And I was like, you know what? I think I need to do that next year because I was just like, this is annoying, man. This is annoying.
The only thing, don't become one of those people that like wants to turn on the auto response like every time I leave the office or their work. Because like I got some people that I've worked with, and it's like, I mean, I get the auto response like when you're gone for like a week. Hey, I'm out of the office until like right now. Hey, I'm out of the office until August 31st. I'll return whatever by then. So like, as soon as it's like 4:00, they kick it on. I'm out of the office right now. Please leave. It's like,
oh man, that's funny too. I was laughing. I thought they were like, I heard you, but then for some reason in my head I was like, the alert goes out like at noon, and you're like, what? And you're like, how you at home right now?
Oh no, I've had some people, and I'm assuming I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because I never called them out on it, but I assume that they just leave it on because I'll send them an email at like 1:00. I get the kickback, and I'm like, sweet, they were that quick with the response. And it turns out they're not. It just has something that's like, you're out of the office? I know you're at work because I just saw like little busy symbol on the email thing.
So one of the best things for the email that was created for people, like you in your position that are in charge, and one of the worst things for people like me was like they what was that, like that read acknowledged, so like people could tell like if you actually opened it and read it instead of being like
yeah. But you can turn that off though.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't even know if people use that in school. I know they use it in the military, and I would always be like, man, I'll always be like, but
well, they got that on like Google, on like Gmail and stuff like that through like every work I've ever been in. But it's like somebody will turn it on with like receipt, and then like, but it prompts you like when you open it and read it before you go to the next one. Do you want to send the read receipt? And I never do because I'm like, I'm not gonna do a little thing and tell you that I read your email. You can kiss my butt. No, good.
I'm not gonna follow your rules just because you said it, right?
Yeah, because I'm like, what? Like, if I respond to you, because that's the thing. It's like, what are your like another? Dude, use it the right way. Text messages are like, hey, shoot you a text message and you'll see it and you'll get back to me in a timely manner, right? Same thing with emails. Like emails are not phone calls where you're like, hey man, I have a quick question. You ask me something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think too many times people use emails like now. It's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, no, that's not it. It's an email. That's not what it's for. Send me information or ask me a question to like clarify something. Don't sit there and like expect me to have a conversation with you back and forth in an email.
One of my task that I gave myself this summer was to go through my emails and like delete stuff that I didn't need, And there's probably something. I have stuff in my folders that I probably could get rid of too. But man, even though I'd read most of them, I had like 1,000 plus emails, right? But now I'm like trying to keep it, I had it down to zero. Well, not zero, because there's still some I kept in there. But like, I don't like when that number notification pops up on my box on the icon. I was like, I gotta go read that or at least go look at it, and because I don't like that it's still it just blows my mind or whatever. But how was the summer at the school and everything for you?
Boring.
Boring.
Super boring. There was 2 weeks where all I did was because we were making copies for these kids' booklets.
Yeah.
And there was 2 straight weeks where I was just making copies and punching holes, like those little fancy binders people put together with little plastic rings that hold it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you'll get when you go to a fancy PD or a conference and something like that. And it's oh, it's cool. This little plastic comb looking thing. Those suck to put together, man. I'm telling you. Because you're just you can only take a certain amount of paper. So if there's 100 sheets, you're not punching a hole in 100 sheets at one time. 10, 15, and then feeding it through this little comb. So I was next time I see one of these things, I'm going to be hey, tell whoever made this thank you, because I know how much it sucks to make these things.
Yeah, when you said punching holes, I thought you were going to say you're punching the wall or whatever. And I was like, man, calm down.
Dude, I would show up at 8 o'clock in the morning and leave at 4, and it was just all you hear is the copy machine going. I get papers, punch hole, put on the punch hole.
Well, sorry about that. I was relaxing for you, if that makes you feel any better.
No, I know. I saw every once in a while little posts. Look at me, night kayaking! Yay!
Hey, that was fun, man. It was the water was low as could be, but it was an awesome time. So, yeah, you and your hatred of water too. You're I got a lot of seaweed that swam underneath me, but there was no other creatures, so that was good, right? I made it back alive.
I don't have a hatred of water. I'm just I realize that other things move quicker, and I don't really want anything to bite me or shear off one of my limbs.
All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back and toast around the world. All right.
All right.
All right. Do you want to say anything, or you just want to say all right? All right, we'll be back. You're all right.
I was is there a pause? All I see is finish recording.
Normally you say something. Yeah, we'll be right back. So that's why I was okay. Welcome back, everybody, to Choey and Jandler's the Fun Time Super Terrific Happy Hour. It's time for toasting around the world. You got your bell, Choey?
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
All right, ready? 1, 2,
right.
3.
Should see the cat's going crazy. What is that? All right. Do you remember, or do you want me to lead it?
Oh, you're gonna have to at least call out the countries, and I think I can remember.
All right. What do we say for Germany?
Prost.
What about South Korea?
Oh, my favorite, Gonbe.
Gonbe. Brazil.
Saudi.
England.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, mate. Australia.
Cheers on the Bobby.
Cheers on the Bobby. And Barbados.
This is I need to look up the accent for these people, so instead of cheers.
Cheers.
They're
we're not racist. We don't know what to say. Remember we had 2 new countries, but 3 new sayings. So French Canada. Do you remember that?
That was oh no, I don't
Santé.
Santé.
All right. For regular Canadians, it's just cheers, you hoser. And then Colombia.
Oh, dude, I forget that one.
Salud.
No new countries yet?
Nah, yeah, I keep checking. Keep checking, trying to see. But I tell you what, I actually need to talk to my teacher friend about our flat Choey and Jandler, because I made a Canva thing and I had to start to kind of proof it, and then I want to start emailing it. I think I told you I got a lot of soccer buddies or European football, world football actually, and they're from other countries. So I was like, if nothing else, I can email it or have them email it to family back home and say like, hey, just even if they don't listen to it as much, although we want them to, maybe they can at least tell us what country they're in and tell us how to say cheers. And so it's kind of like, free advertising. So I just trying to get that done, but it's actually done. I just wanted her to proofread it, and kind of help iron it out or whatever. All right. So next thing I'm going to talk about is we're doing it now. We had some pull time difficulties early this summer because we weren't on do not disturb mode, and every time you get a notification, it would like bleep. Like, it's hard to explain unless you edited it, but it would knock out seconds of sound, and then like when it come back, it would like speed it up real quick, and it was just really weird. And it did that sometimes in the midst of some good stories between us, and so I was like, nah, we can't do that anymore. that's annoying,
Yeah.
So far so good. Sounds a lot better, right? I mean, there's no interruptions, so
hopefully.
Here's another new segment. Every episode we're gonna have a holiday. This one I'm calling the TripAdvisor. It will not be every episode. Now we're not only just the Seinfeld podcast. I feel like we're a little bit Saturday Night Live. We start having little sketches or segments type things,
Just random.
But I was kind of hoping you were here because I felt so. In TripAdvisor, I want to read some fun trivia about the countries that are listening to us right now, right? Kind of in our our lifestyle. It's similar to lifestyles of the rich and famous. Now I don't have an accent, but I felt we got to kind of talk snooty. So I was like, Choey would have been able to pull this off much better. So, dude, laugh at me all you want over this, but try not to keep it chuckle to yourself or whatever. It's like, because this is tough, man. All right, so let me start here. Our first trip around the world here will be Germany. All right, so I have 6 interesting facts here for people like you, Choey, and anyone else to think about when they go visit Germany. All right, fact number 1. If you hate daylight savings time, you can blame Germany, as they were the first people to adopt this in 1916. Second important trivia fact, or interesting fact, if you will, German is actually the 3rd most commonly taught language in the world. In German, the word Danke, do you know what that means?
Thank you.
Yeah. Danke, or thanks, actually means no. It means thank you and no. If someone asks you if you would like a drink, make sure you say bitte or please, as this means yes. Maybe that's a mistype, because they also have 9 is no in Germany too. I remember that, but who knows? I don't remember. Clue 3 or trivia 3. Rather than wave to your German friends, greet them by knocking on the table. It is believed that knocking on oak is good luck because the devil isn't able to touch the holy wood. Remember that. The next one. Whatever you do, don't cheers anybody with water in Germany. Doing so means you're wishing death upon your drinking buddies, and you definitely don't want to do that.
Or do you?
No? Well, if you do, are they really your buddies? All right, next one. There are 1,300 beer breweries in Germany. And they produce over 5,000 different types of beer. No wonder why Germans are the world's 2nd biggest beer drinkers. I wonder if they're behind us. Probably us. I mean, we indulge in everything over here, right? Last but not least, nearly or over 7 million liters of beer are consumed each year at Oktoberfest, the world's largest beer festival, which ironically does not take place in October. It takes place in September.
I didn't know that.
A little bit there about Germany, huh? Well, that's what Choey and Jandler like to do, right? We like to teach people stuff. Was that some fun trivia for you there?
I'm pulling out my phone. I'm actually trying to convert over the 7 million liters into gallons, and so trying to figure that out. I'm like, how many gallons?
That's the problem with our what do you call it, standard system as opposed to metric system. And there's a good point here. I wish I'd have thought about it. I didn't anticipate that question from you or that response. We're like one of 3 countries in the world that does the standard exclusively, and the other 2 countries are like third world countries, man. It's like, so yeah, we produce metric tools and standard tools over here in America, and we don't really export a lot of our standard tools because we're like the only ones using it. So it's kind of odd, But yeah, it is hard in your head to be like 7,000 liters. What is that? Well, normally you got like, you think of like a big 3 liter or 7 up. That's what. So take about almost 3,000 of those.
It said it was 1.8 million gallons.
A lot of gallons, isn't it?
I sit there and I'm like, I guess it's like a reference point as to like how much that is. So I'm like, well, there was no point in me converting that. I'm like, okay, so now I know how many. Like, I don't.
You could just think that that's a lot more than any car lot. I guess what you take more than that to fill up, their whole car lot. So yeah, it's a lot of beer. How about that? It's a ton of beer.
Absolutely.
All right, I got one more thing here. We're gonna do a social media plug, and that'll be the end of our first episode. So, like I said, you called it earlier, of kind of like this monster with the podcast, keep coming with ideas. And, you had the analogy saying that we're going to start throwing in here one of these episodes. But another thing, I had the holidays, which I think are kind of funny, the TripAdvisor, which will be every so often. But I want to end a lot of episodes on just random facts, just random silly facts that I happen to look up. So, Mr. Choey Tribbiani, did you know that most toilets flush in E flat?
I don't even. Okay, whatever. I don't even know what that means exactly, but I know you're going with that. What I'm like, what?
And I think that they flush. Oh no! Now I'm thinking of The Simpsons. They flush one direction here, like clockwise, but counterclockwise in Australia or something like that. I know they flush the opposite way over there. Do you remember when Bart Simpson rang up that huge long distance bill because he called somebody in Australia?
Well, I remember like Homer was somewhere else. I think it was maybe Australia, and like they had like the machine that like kicked in and made it swirl the other way, and he started singing the national anthem.
Oh yeah, it's the same episode, man. That's when instead of caning, they did booting on the episode, right? And they got his big boots, and Bart refused to do it, and so like, I think it's the same episode. Who knows? Anyway, that's what happens when you don't over prepare. All right, last thing, our social media plug. Like I said at the beginning, we are, I updated a lot of our social media to make sure it matches our Anchor podcast homepage. So we're still on Twitter, now known as X, at Choey N Jan, Choey, the letter N, Jan. Same goes for Instagram, right? And TikTok. And then we're also on Threads. Yeah, thank you. I forgot about Threads. Yeah, same thing for Threads. Basically, all 4 is the same thing. At Choey, Choey, the letter N, and then Jan. And then we got our Facebook page. Look us up on Facebook, Choey and Jan, or our YouTube. And after I'm done with this, at some point, I'll end up getting that on YouTube for Friday. Have you watched any of those YouTube ones?
I have not. I get too busy stuck watching all your Instagram things. Goofy. I
gotta be so.
Especially the last one.
I have so many ideas, and I know I have to at some point figure out a time to sit down and work on them. But I will say, so my mom, Mother Bing, that would work, right?
I guess
Instead of saying Mrs. Bing, Mother Bing, she watches the YouTube, and she actually gave me some feedback. She said she felt that the transitions were too fast, so I slowed it down for her. Like it was auto, a lot for her to watch. So that's it. We're gonna say goodbye for the end of episode 1. And anything you'd like to add, Choey?
Nope. Just thank you for listening, and I hope you keep it going.
Yeah, and we'll continue to keep season 2 going here.